What's up guys, Calisunsetgaming with you again, and we are back with another tactics video for your career mode and online seasons. It's been a while since I've done one of these videos, but after watching Stevie G's Aston Villa and emulating it on career mode, I couldn't help myself. I just had to give you guys the tips on how to copy this formation and tactics for you to use. Not only that, but make sure that you guys stick around because I'm going to tell you guys the type of players you're going to want to purchase if you're going to be using this play style in your career mode. So let's get to it. Steven Gerrard joined Aston Villa off the back of a successful spell at Rangers. Now, despite being relatively new to managing, it's clear to see that he has an attacking ethos founded on high work rate and commitment that he projects onto the players. Now, to start off with the basics, if you have the most recent update, you will notice that EA have had a go at copying this formation. I mean, it's shit, but they tried. I mean, this sort of ties into my belief that most of the teams on FIFA really lack an identity. And I think that's one of the fundamental problems with most football games, but that's another rant for another video. The formation is a modification of a 4-3-3, with the wingers operating as inside forwards and the central midfielder dropping as a CDM. The width comes from the wing backs, who get forward during an attack to get in crosses, which in theory will be met by a striker or the two inside forwards, with the high intensity midfielders protecting against the transition. That said, the midfielders can spread and create triangles out wide to overload the defence and create passing lanes. The two inside forwards, or as you'll later on see in the video, central attacking midfielders, are given free rein of the attacking third, with quick 1-2 passing and dummy runs to break apart defences. In defence, the team slots into a more rigid Christmas tree formation, with a high press coming from the front three, and the two midfielders pressing the opposition's wing backs to decrease passing options. But how do we translate this into FIFA for our FIFA career mode? Well, let's take a look at the lineup and the tactics and the instructions that we're going to give the players. But before we do that, make sure that you smash a like on this video, consider hitting subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you get an update every time I release a brand new video. I love getting your guys' feedback, and I would love to know if there's any other managers that you want me to try and emulate on FIFA 22 for your online seasons or career mode.
Here we have the formation in its final form, a 4-3-2-1 that we've modified ever so slightly. What I will do is just quickly show you guys the formation that it's originally based off. So there, the Christmas tree formation. As you can see, we've made slight adjustments to it. I'll quickly slide back up to the top and it will show you. So what I've done is the central midfielder is in like the one that's in the middle. I've dropped him into a centre defensive midfield role. And then in terms of the two centre forwards that it's got right behind the striker, what I've done is I've set those as two central attacking midfielders. So that's very easy to do. All you need to do is just quickly select the player, and then if you press square or X, depending on which console you're on, what you can do is you can then adjust the position. Might take slight incremental changes just to make sure that you do change it, but you can get this final formation that I'm showing you here. Now, the reason that the centre forwards or the sort of secondary strikers are set as central attacking midfielders is just because of their base position and their responsibilities. So as central attacking midfielders, they will have more emphasis on defending than centre forwards. This makes it easier for when you are trying to win the ball back for your team to stay in shape, and your central attacking midfielders to drop just that little bit deeper to fall into that formation that you see Aston Villa pull off in real life. The centre defensive midfielder will drop deeper and it will create a back three when the two wing backs are going forward. So the formation has almost a front five, if you will, with the two wing backs stepping forward as well as the central attacking midfielders and the striker. Here we have the tactics. These are the specific tactics that I've set up, but like I said, I've done a lot of tweaking and I feel this is the best way to emulate it on FIFA. Is it a carbon copy match? No. If you've had the opportunity to watch my other videos, you'll realise that with FIFA, it's not as detailed as what it is on, say, Football Manager, for instance. But what we have to do is make slight adjustments. We just got to work with what we're given, guys, all right? So just take it in and let me know your thoughts. So for the defensive style, we've got pressure on heavy touch. The reason that we've done this is so that the team can maintain their shape, taking the opportunity to press forward when an opportunity arises. This is the best way to do it, in my personal opinion, because in real life, Aston Villa will keep a very solid shape, but what they'll do is they'll try and offensively win the ball from the front. It's more difficult to do that on FIFA because pace is so OP in this game. It's difficult to sort of have that high press and not be brutalized for doing so. The only way that I can describe this is if you've ever played against Liverpool, for instance, even on the hardest difficulty, if you go a goal up early and they start committing to offence, you can easily bag 4 or 5 past them if you're planning it correctly and catching them on the counter attack. We don't want to do that here. We don't want to leave ourselves susceptible to that sort of thing, especially a team like Aston Villa, where there are teams that are above Aston Villa that can exploit that. We've got the width set at 65. The reason we've got it set at 65 is the experiment that I've done. I feel that this is the best way to maintain a sort of solid shape around the full pitch and also cover those wings effectively. The centre of the pitch is covered, obviously, because you have a large amount of midfielders. So, you know, with this, I feel it covers each aspect of the pitch perfectly. The depth is set at 55, so we're slightly further forward than what we usually would be. But again, this is to tie in with Gerrard's attacking ethos and winning the ball high up the pitch, or at least in the midfield area. In terms of the offence, we've got it as fast build-up, quick passing. You'll notice that if you do watch Aston Villa, whilst under Steven Gerrard, there will be a lot of quick passing, a lot of intertwined play, one-touch passing between the two central attacking midfielders, often involving the striker as well to break through that back line. The chance creation is down as forward runs, so we have a lot of players making forward runs, especially those wing backs so that it can get crosses into the box for the players that are waiting. We've got the width set at 60, so slightly wider than preset, but there's a lot of emphasis coming from the fact that you have players, your wing backs, going down the wing to create early crosses. Having the width at 60 will allow you to be able to involve the midfielders as well to create those passing triangles that Gerrard loves to utilise. As always, things like the players in the box, the corners and the free kicks, this is something that's purely down to you. I feel as if having the players in the box at 8, the corners at 3 and the free kicks at 3 is a perfect mix, but it's all just down to how comfortable you feel with the formation. What I would say is that this, even though I've said we're trying not to commit too many players forward, is a formation where you can get caught out, and a lot of the teams that have pacier strikers will catch you out if you overcommit on things like set pieces. So maybe just to get used to the formation, possibly try dropping it down to 4 or 5 just until you get used to it. Last but by certainly no means least, we have the specific instructions that we're going to be providing to each player. Now, for the two centre backs, they remain the same: stay back whilst attacking, with no real changes to any of the other instructions that they're given. The wing backs are going to have the same instructions, and that is join the attack in terms of their attacking runs. The interceptions will just keep down as normal, but the run type is overlap. We want them to be running down that byline, getting early crosses into the box. Our centre defensive midfielder, we have him on balanced defence, and we want him to drop between defenders on attacking support. If you think about the amount of players that we have going forward, you've got the two wing backs, the two central attacking midfielders and the striker. So that front 5 in terms of an attack will then be supported by the two central midfielders, allowing the centre defensive midfielder to drop between the defenders, creating a back 3. In terms of his defensive position, we'll have him covering centre, and I'll explain why when we move on to the central midfielders that support him either side. But in terms of his positioning freedom, we just have him as stick to position. So our two central midfielders that are either side of the central defensive midfielder, the attacking support, we've got them down as get forward, and the defensive position, we have them as cover the wing. So both of those players will spread wide if you do get caught on the counter attack, to cover those gaps left by the wing backs. Now, in terms of the central attacking midfielders, both of these players have the same instructions as well. For defensive support, you want them to come back on the defence. This is what I was discussing earlier about the fact that we have them as central attacking midfielders rather than centre forwards. Just as a preset, their natural position is going to be deeper than what a centre forward would be, even though on the screen it might not necessarily look it on your formation screen. Actually, in the game, they will sit a lot deeper when defending. Having these two players come back on defence will allow the team to more easily slot back into that defensive Christmas tree formation. Like I mentioned in the introduction, this is based on all players playing with high intensity, high commitment, So each player has to be married to their position and also the needs of the team. In terms of the striker, we haven't really made that many changes. We've got him on balanced width, mixed attack, and come back on defence, just so that we can have him assist in slotting into that Christmas tree formation.
Now, in terms of the type of players that you want to buy, I'm not going to just sit there and say to you, buy Messi, because I actually think that that's like counterproductive. This isn't going to be giving you specific players to buy. It's more about what sort of players you need to be on the lookout for so that you can cater your searches to match the team that you're managing. Now, the formation itself relies on an energetic midfield. Much like Liverpool, a lot of critics will probably say that what Gerrard was doing at Rangers and what he's trying to emulate at Aston Villa is very similar to Klopp's Liverpool, which is fine. The team's incredible, so why wouldn't you take pointers from it? Now in midfield, you're going to want players with high stamina. Not only that, but you're going to want to ensure that they have high passing stats and tackling, as a midfield will be your main line of transition regarding winning the ball back. You want to ensure that you have pacey fullbacks that have got good ability to deliver a ball in, so you want to be thinking about crossing and long passing stats regarding the fullbacks. Your cams / inside forwards, you're going to want them with high shooting stats, as they're going to be one of the main components for your attack. I've only played one season with Aston Villa, and I must admit, the team is fantastic. Like, if you're struggling to think of a team to play with on a career mode at the moment, Aston Villa is definitely one of those teams that have got so much potential and a lot of players that are just really fun to play with. The one season that I did complete, most of the goals that I was scoring was coming from the central attacking midfielders, which are acting within roles of inside forwards. So think of Coutinho, he was getting more goals than the strikers were, and I was sort of like rotating the strikers. But that's not a problem. He's still scoring goals. It just, most of the outlet was coming from those inside forwards. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I had loads of fun making it. If you did, make sure that you subscribe to get more videos like this. And like I said before, if there's any other managers that you want me to emulate on FIFA to break down for you to use on your online seasons or career mode, just make sure you let me know in the comments. I love these type of videos. It's the opportunity for us to discuss whether the tactics work in certain leagues, just to get your opinions on you using the tactics and if they worked for you. I'd love to hear your feedback. And as always, guys, I will catch you next time on Calisunsetgaming.